This week on Asianet Samvad, we join you from New York, the site of 9/11 tragedy, Ground Zero. We speak with immediate relatives of the fallen. We honor the brave men and women who rescued lives, and we console the families of the departed. Asianet Samvad from 9/11 in New York.
Everybody calm down. Walk north. We crashed. The other trade center's down. It's down. It's down. Still around, guys. Still around.
Spread over 8 acres, the 9/11 Memorial in New York is a place of remembrance and contemplation. In April 2003, an international competition was launched to choose a design for a permanent memorial at the site where the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center existed. The competition resulted in 5,201 entries from 63 countries. Finally, in January 2004, the design submitted by an Israeli architect, Michael Arad, and landscape architect Peter Walker, titled Reflecting Absence, was selected. The memorial opened on September 11, 2011, 10 years after the attacks. Today, the beautiful 9/11 memorial has transformed New York. Today, close to 4 million people from all parts of the world visit the memorial every year. The memorial has 2 large pools, each nearly an acre in size. The pools sit in the footprints of the North and South Towers destroyed during the attacks. The pools contain the largest man-made waterfalls in America, each descending 30 feet and then again another 20 feet. The architect called it absence made visible. The names of the 2,983 people who were killed in the 2001 and 1993 terrorist attacks are inscribed on bronze parapets edging the pool. More than 400 white oak trees surround the pools, making it a place of tranquility. Next to it is the new One World Trade Center, also called the Freedom Tower. It is the tallest building in North America and the Western Hemisphere. The building has 94 stories. "9/11 Memorial offers a place for remembrance and contemplation. True to its design, it is absence made visible."
We are today joined by Mr. Stanley Premnath. He's a survivor of the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. He was a banking executive and worked on the 81st floor of the South Tower. He's only one of 18 survivors from within or above the impact zone. Thank you for joining us today to share your story with Asianet News.
It's a pleasure for me to be here, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers what happened that day 21 years ago. How were you able to survive?
And what I saw in the corner of my eyes was fireballs falling from the sky from the other tower. So I walked to the ledge, the window, and I'm looking up because the first building was already hit. And I was in the elevator coming up and I did not have a clue what happened. So as I'm looking up, she came towards me and I said, look, tell me what is happening. And we didn't figure it out. Had I known that the first plane had hit the first building, chances are I would have ran out. So we didn't know anything. So I walked back to the desk, reached to the phone, called my boss, Peter Del Grasso is his name. Pick up the phone. He's not answering. I called his boss, Bob Militaglio. Bobby, pick up the phone. No response. I told Delise, the young lady was, I said, Delise, let's get out of here. So we ran out of the office. I work on the south side of the south building. Walk all the way down the corridor, the hallway that is, reach the elevator, went downstairs. And when we got out of the elevator or trying to get out, the security guard says, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going home. I saw fireballs falling from the sky from the first building." He said, "No, your building is safely secured. Go back to your office." Sit there, and I'm wondering what to do. So I'm on the ground floor. Now, in that elevator, 18 other people, all the big shots, the head of human resources department, head of general affairs, the CEO, everybody was in there. And Delise and I, 20 of us, and I'm deciding what to do. At this point, Delise said, "Stan, I'm scared. I want to go home." I said, "Well, take the rest of the day off." And I can hear from the elevator, "How can you do this? We have an operation here to run." I says, No. I'm running the operation. She's going home." And I think in my heart, that was the best decision I ever made.
You were actually in the second tower. You saw flames go up in the north tower when the plane hit. And
that is correct.
You had the presence of mind to go down and, along with 17 other people, walk back into life. Were you injured? Were you covered in ash? What was your situation?
Well, nothing happened to me. So we are going back in the elevator, back to the office now. One man stopped and got out in the office in front of me. And he walks into the men's room. And I never saw that man again. And I went back into the office and the phone rang. And a young lady from Chicago is telling me, "Get out." I said, "Get out for what?" She said, "Stan, we don't have the time. Please, please, please get out." Mm-hmm. And as I'm having this conversation with her, something caught my eyes. And I'm looking towards the Statue of Liberty. And there's a giant aircraft, gray in color, coming towards me, eye-level, eye contact.
Wow.
The plane, as it came towards the closest 1,000 yards, as I can remember, the plane starts to tilt, and it's happening in slow motion. The plane came like this, starts to tilt, and I can hear that revving sound that the engine is making as it's coming closer, closer, closer. I dropped the phone, screamed, and dove under the desk. And the last thing I remember saying, "Lord, I can't do this. You take over." And I don't know why I said this. Even if you beat me over the head today, I would never recall why I said it. But that's all I remember saying. And with the most thunderous sound, the plane smashed into the building. And the bottom wing took out the 79th floor, the top wing, the 82nd floor. And those were the 4 floors we had.
So now you have escaped this tragedy and you're back home. And then you're now hearing news that, almost 3,000 people lives were taken. They were killed. How did you feel?
The first couple of days, I couldn't recognize people and faces. I lost my mind, literally. I couldn't recognize the face of my wife and our 2 daughters. But as the week progressed, I started remembering things. And the first thing that crashed into my head, the thought crept in, was this really happening, or was it a nightmare?
Do you still recount that day? Is that guilt that you mentioned still with you, or have you overcome that?
Past 21 years, I've relived that moment. I've relived that day when God reached down in his mercies and let me live. And I always ask the questions, why all these good men? The unanswerable question, why, Lord? And I would never get the answer as, why not? But I relive that moment every night before I go to sleep. I can hear the cries of these people, and I can see the falling heroes. And we're jumping over the bodies and running away. And I'm reliving that moment and telling myself, I live because of grace.